Hello and welcome to my live Forever in Motion class. And here we are on a beautiful late summer day. It's going to be plus 22 out today. So one of our last warm days of the year, I think. So thanks for joining me. We'll get started right away. I had a request last week to do a weight only class. A lot of times I will do a combination of tubing and weights, just depending on what you happen to have at home. But I did have a request for someone just to do a purely weight class, so that's what today is going to be. So if you don't already have a set of weights and a chair handy, I would ask that you'd have those handy. And I see I didn't grab my water. My water bottle is just around the corner, so I'll have to grab that in just a minute here. But if you could make sure you have some of those things ready, that would be great, and we'll get started right away. If you want to start with a march, we'll get started with the march. And in case I didn't introduce myself, my name is Kimberly. So thanks for joining in today. We have a couple people tuning in already. So just let me grab my water and I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully that gave you a chance to grab your water if you didn't already have yours. You have a set of weights and you have a chair. And if you happen to not have a set of weights at home, know that you could always grab a couple sets of cans. You could just grab one can in each hand, or you could put a couple cans in a grocery bag, and that would work just as fine too. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's start with a warm-up. So we're going to start by marching out. And our warm-up should be a full body, get everything warmed up kind of movement. So let's start with nice big shoulder roll, up, back, and down. Taking a couple nice deep breaths at the same time. So inhale, bring those shoulders up, back, and down. Good, again, inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders back and down. And again, one more time, nice deep breath in, and exhale. Okay, let's continue on with our warm-up. So let's go into a 1, 2, 3 tap. 1, 2, 3 tap, 1, 2, 3 tap. Good. And our warm-up is meant to just gradually get that blood flowing, warm up the body. Let's start moving that just a little bit. So I'll move that slightly side to side. And I'm restricted by the size of my iPhone here, the view in my iPhone. But feel free to make that a little bit bigger if you'd like. That's it. Now remember, we're always thinking about good posture. So think about pulling that belly button into the spine, maybe tucking the tailbone under, lifting those shoulders back and down, and having a nice, long, tall spine today. As we do with every class, right? Great. I almost feel like I should have been outside today for today's class, since it's going to be such a nice, beautiful day, and maybe the last one we have of the summer here. Okay, let's see 2 more. And last time, back to in the center. Now can we move that forward and back just a little bit? So a little bit of brain work here. 1, 2, 3, tap, back, 2, 3, tap. 2, 3, tap, back, 2, 3, tap. Good. And I can't actually have music going as well, just with online classes, music complicates things with being allowed to have music playing. But if you've got some music playing in the background, maybe you can go to the beat of your music. I'm going to the music in my head here. I've got a little bit of Stand By Me going in the back of my head. Okay, a couple more times. And 2 more. And last time, good, march it out. Great job. Okay, so we moved around a little bit side and back. Let's really warm up the back side of the body, and let's do a tap back here. So this will warm up the glutes, the hamstrings. Let's swing the arms. I like to have my arms swinging forward at the same time. Kind of counterbalances me here just a little bit. You could also have those arms going back with your legs if that feels more comfortable. And you know I always like to challenge your brain. So feel free to have those arms going forward and back if you like, or just for a little bit of a challenge, have those arms go a different direction than the legs. Make sure you're still breathing here, just taking some nice, easy breaths at the same time. Last 4, last 3, 2, and last 1, march it out. Now remember, all of these exercises that I'm doing standing, you could be doing the exact same thing seated, right? Let's do a step touch, step together, step together. So they virtually look all the ways the same in seated as standing. So that step touch would be the exact same as step to the side, but I'd be doing that seated instead, remembering to have good posture still, even though I'm seated versus standing. Good. Because I've been sitting at my computer all morning, I'm going to choose to do mine standing today. And then also remember, you can choose to do these seated. You could choose to do these behind your chair so that you could have that chair for support, or you can do them without any assistance at all. So know you have those 3 options to choose from the whole entire class here today. Okay, let's get those arms going. I always start with easy arms, and you're always welcome to stay with those easy arms. Or if you'd like, change those arms up. Have those arms and legs go in different directions, which is a little bit more of a challenge on your brain again. Good. Okay, last 4, last 3, 2, and last 1. Good job. March it out. Okay, this is a great time for us have our first drink of water here. Keep those feet moving. Great. Okay, that was about 5 to 6 minutes of warm up. We're going to gradually bring that heart rate back down here. So let's just take it to a little lower march. And again, let's roll those shoulders up, back, and down. I always really like to reset that posture with that shoulder roll up, back, and down. Good. Inhale. Great. One more time. Nice deep breath in. Great. Okay, let's just bring that to a nice, easy heel raise here at the same time. Good. So as I mentioned at the beginning here, and you might have missed the beginning, but I had a request to do an all-weight class. So we won't be using tubing and bands for this one, and I will put this in the introduction as well, so that if you do want to come back to this one, you can look in the introduction and see that it's an all-weight class. If you don't happen to have weights, you could be using soup cans. You could still use tubing if that's all you have at home. You could still just use tubing for a lot of these exercises too. You've probably seen myself and the other team members do exercise with tubing and weights. So I'll give this one a try today with all weights just to give you a chance to see what that looks like. Okay, we should have our heart rate down, our breathing just down a little bit here. We warmed up the body, and now let's get into our strength section. Okay, so we're gonna grab our weights here. Now I've chosen to take a set of 8s today. I might have to grab my 5s for the odd weight. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna come to the side. We're gonna turn, roll those shoulders up, back, and down. I'm turned to the side so you can see me. I'm gonna hinge forward the hips, keeping my head and neck in line with my spine. And then I'm gonna bring my arms to my hips and then come back down. Hands to the hips. So this is a double arm back row. Know that you can also do this in seated and it will look exactly the same. where I'm just sitting on my chair instead. My hands are coming to my hips, just like they were as I was standing. I'm squeezing those shoulder blades together in the back, and I'm working primarily my lats, or my latissimus dorsi, with this exercise. We're making sure we're breathing at the same time. Exhale as we exert, or as we bring those arms back. Inhale as we release back down. Let's see 2 more. And last one. Great. Okay, let's put those weights down for a moment here. Remember, you can always stretch out between sets. That could be just a quick swing of the arms. That could be a little bit of a stretch through that muscle group. I might like a cat-cow with that one, just to release the spine just a bit. And we'll mostly stick to just one set of every exercise here today. But no, if you wanted to, you could always do 2 sets of each exercise just to increase the intensity. Okay, so if we're doing a weight-only class, I can only use weights with chest if I get down on the ground. So if I'm going to do weights only or body weight resistance, I'm actually going to go to the wall. So I'm going to move the chair over, and I'm going to come to the wall. I think you can just barely see me on the wall here. So I'm going to start with my feet about a foot away from the wall, hands outstretched. I'm going to start with them about shoulder height, but then I'm going to take those hands just a little wider than shoulder width apart. And I am going to move you over just a little bit so you can see me a bit better there on the wall. Okay, so I'm going to start with feet about a foot away from the wall, hands up on the wall, and I'm going to press into the wall. And this is my wall push-up. Now, if I want to work a little harder, I'm going to take those feet back a little further, dropping the hands just a little bit. And that makes it just a little bit more intense. And I could still take those feet back a little further and press against the wall. Now, if you really feel like that's still not quite enough for you, you could press away from the wall and fall into the wall. So it's a little bit of reaction time. As I fall into the wall, I bring those hands up and I press away. So I'm getting that strength through my chest, but I'm also building up my bone density by falling into the wall, just getting a little bit of impact to that upper body. As you know, we generally don't count, and that's because we want to more go towards fatigue. So the point where we feel like we can't do one more. Also, we're busy giving all of our cues, and really, if we're busy giving all our cues, we don't have time to count. Let's try 2 more, because I'm starting to feel that in my shoulders, which are also working. That's it, good. And last one. Good. Okay, give that a little bit of a shake. Maybe a little bit of a shoulder roll there. Nice, great job. I'll bring my chair back over again, and maybe I'll center you once again here. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so if we're continuing on with weight-only exercises, the next one I want to do, because my first back exercise was for my lower back, my next one needs to be for my upper back. So I'm going to grab onto my weights, and I've got a little heavier weights here too today. So I'm going to do a upper back row. So again, I'm going to turn to the side so you can really see what this looks like. You could do the exact same thing seated, of course. I'm going to hinge forward at the hips, keeping that head and neck in line with the spine again. My hands instead are my palms are going to face back, and I'm going to bring my hands shoulder height and then back down. So elbow shouldn't be any higher than my upper back here. Bringing those arms up and back. Now I'm going to turn to the front so you can see this. My elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle as I come up. So this is working my upper back. I'm envisioning squeezing my shoulder blades together, almost like I've got an orange between my shoulder blades, and I'm squeezing that orange and come back down. Squeeze that orange and back down. Great. Whew. Starting to get a little warm here now. And for that lower back, this weight was probably about right. For upper back, fact, this is a little bit more challenging. So this is a little harder with my 8-pound weights. Okay, 2 more. Ooh, definitely going to fatigue here. And last one. Ooh, okay. Bring that up. Put those weights down. Give that a little bit of a shake. Great. Good. Okay, I'm going to let my dogs in. Otherwise, they're going to keep barking here outside the window. So I'm going to let them in real quick. Grab yourself a quick drink of water. Great. Good. Okay. Very good. Down. 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 Okay, grab yourself a drink. And we'll give that upper body just a little bit of a break. Okay, so let's work on a little bit of leg strength here. And let's do a squat. So I'm going to give you both seated and standing options. One option here is a squat. So we're going to come down and out, down and back, sitting the hips back, chest stays lifted, and hips are coming back. So this is our squat. Now, if you'd like a seated option, then you can be sitting in your chair. And sitting in your chair, and Sunny's going to be in my way here for this one here. We're going to lift the leg and bend the leg. So it looks like this from the side. Lift and lower. Now I'm just lifting that leg. I'm not actually, or I'm just extending the knee, I should say. I'm not actually lifting that leg. Straighten the leg and bend. Those of you that are happy with that squat are staying with that squat. And looks like everybody wants to be in the video today, which is great. So usually I just leave them outside. The garbage truck is just about to go by. And if I leave them outside here, then they're going to be chasing garbage trucks. Okay, so you got a couple more squats or a couple more leg extensions. Okay, and 2 more. And knowing that you're always going to fatigue. So you're always going to the point where you feel like you can't quite do one more. Great. Okay, give that a shake. So hopefully we've given that upper body just a little bit of a break here now, and we'll get it back into our upper body here again. Down. Lay down. Down. Stay. Okay, let's get back into that upper body. So let's grab onto our weights and let's do a shoulder shrug. So hanging onto the weights on either hand here, we're gonna lift the shoulders and lower the shoulders. We're standing nice and tall with good posture. Always thinking about those ABCs of posture. So abdominals pulled in, bum tucked, chest lifted, and shin tucked. And then we have our ABCs of posture. We're breathing at the same time here. Exhale as we're lifting up. Inhale as we're lowering back down. Once again, your seated option will look exactly the same, but in a seated position instead. Are you still breathing? You might be able to hear Sunny breathing there. He's breathing. I hope you are too. Okay, 2 more. And last time. Great job. Okay, let's place those weights down for a moment there. Let's grab that drink of water again. Okay, moving on to the next biggest muscle in our upper body, and that would be our biceps. So we're gonna grab onto those weights once again. And once again, I mentioned this at the beginning, if you have just tubing at home, you can do many of these exercises. Instead of just hanging onto the weights, you'd have the tubing underneath your feet and you do them exactly the same. So let's do a hammer, actually let's do a regular curl today here. Palms will come forward or palms up, and then I'm actually gonna rotate back down so my palms face that outside of my thighs. So again, bring those arms up to shoulder height and then slowly lower back down. Great. Once again, we're standing nice and tall. And know that if you are at a point where you feel like you can do multiple exercises, this would be a great one. You could join with a squat if you were interested. So it might look like this, where you do a squat with a bicep curl. So if you're feeling like you're ready to get challenged, you could do that. And then if you feel like you're more comfortable seated, you could always do this bicep curl just in a seated position. And that would be just fine too. Just make sure that you're not stopping on your thighs. If you're doing this seated, those hands need to still come all the way down to the sides and not stop on your thighs. Good. Once again, we're remembering to still breathe. Exhale on the way up. Inhale on the way down. Starting to get to fatigue here. You're getting to the point where you feel like you almost can't quite do one more. If not, maybe next time you want to grab a heavier resistance band or a little heavier weight. Okay, last two and last one. Great. Okay, let's release that. Give that a little bit of a shake here. Good. And we'll give those biceps just a little bit of a stretch. Now remember, feel free to have a drink at any time here. You want to stay hydrated during the class. Good. We're going to have a drink about every 2 or 3 exercises. Okay, next one here is a tricep kickback. So you just need one weight for this one here. I'm going to turn to the side. I'm going to have 1 foot step forward, 1 foot back. I'm going to take one hand, place it on my thigh. Hand has come to hip height. I'm going to straighten the arm and bend the arm. Now this would be one where I probably would prefer to do this with a little lighter weight. So I only might do 6 to 8 reps for this one here, because this one is a little bit tougher one. So if I had a 5-pound weight handy, I'd grab that. Make sure you're breathing at the same time. That's it. And if you have a little lighter weight, maybe you're doing a few extra repetitions. And if you've got a little bit too heavy of a weight like me, maybe you're doing a few less repetitions. Okay, let's see 2 more. And last one. Now I'm going to stop there. If you feel like you're not quite at that fatigue, then just do a couple more for me here. And while you're finishing off just a couple more reps, I'm just going to see how you're making out. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all joining me today. Okay, next side. Other leg forward, other leg back. Let's bring that hand to hip height and straighten and bend. Good. And hopefully watching these guys wander around my feet isn't too distracting, or maybe it's good. Maybe it's distracting you from feeling this in your muscles. That's it. Oh, it's definitely getting warm in here. Are you warming up just a bit? Okay, I'm gonna go for 2 more from here. Again, if you feel like you can do a couple more, you do a couple more. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds there. You might be able to do just a few more if you've got a little bit lighter weights today. That was enough for me. I went to the point of fatigue, the point where I feel like I couldn't quite do one more with good form. So I'm gonna give those arms just a bit of a shake. You're probably just wrapping up your set there. Okay, we're good? Okay, let's go into a couple more leg exercises. I'm gonna do a split stride lunge, okay? Now a split side lunge, I'm actually gonna have my chair with me for this one here. So I'm gonna give that a turn. So I really encourage you to have that chair for support. You're gonna have 1 foot in front. Now essentially, this should look like a one-legged squat almost, okay? So this front leg, it's gonna look just like it would if I was to do a squat. So here is my squat. That's what it should look like. So my front leg. My back leg is just gonna have a little step back, and I'm gonna have very little weight in that back leg. It's only gonna be maybe 20% of my weight, body weight, in my left leg, 80% in my front leg. I'm gonna have that chair in front just in case, and then it should look like a squat. It should look like how I normally do my squat. My hips are coming back, my chest is staying lifted. So does this look the same? My body position probably looks the same as I would do in a squat. But in a way, this is almost like doing a one-legged squat, because 80% of my weight is in this leg versus when I do a squat, it's 50-50, right? And I'm gonna have that chair in front for support just in case I need it. If you do need that chair, make sure you're hanging on to that chair. Hips are going back, chest is staying lifted. Whew. Let's see 2 more, and again, no, you can stop sooner if you've already gotten to that fatigue, or feel free to do a couple extra if you're able to do a couple extra. Okay, give that a little shake. Let's do the other side. So, other leg forward, other leg back, just the tippy toe on that back leg. Hips are going back, chest is staying lifted. And once again, if I bring that foot in, it's gonna look just like a squat, but one of my legs is back, just the tippy toe, just helping to support me. Woo! Let's see just a couple more here. And last time. Okay, and once again, know if you can do a couple extra, do a couple extra, or if that was enough, then you're stopping a little sooner. Okay, let's go into a few more exercises that are both leg strengthening and balance. So anytime we do our balance exercises, know you have 3 levels. Level 1, your hands on your chair. Level 2, fingertips, and level 3, hands are hovering over the chair. I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see me a bit better. My feet are going to be about hip width or shoulder width apart. My hand can be resting on that chair or hovering. I'm going to come up to my tippy toes, working my calf muscles. I'm going to slowly lower, rocking back onto my heels. This is where I might use my chair just a bit. And again, come up to the tippy toes, working my calf. And then roll back onto your heels, lifting the toes, working the front of the shin or tibialis anterior. This is good for working on that ankle strength. The range of motion helps us to be able to lift those toes so that we don't have a fall. Good. And I'll turn a couple times to the side here so you can see this from the side. Lift up as high as you can. Rock back onto the heels. Lift up and rock back. Great. And we're standing nice and tall for this one. I know we're tempted to stick out our bum as we rock back, but try to keep that bum tucked in. Try to stay nice and tall with good posture all throughout the exercise. Good. So I don't know if you're keeping track or not, but you should have noticed we did 2 back exercises, a lower and an upper. We did 1 chest, and we did that really to work on our posture so that we're really improving that upper body strength and the upper back strength specifically, just to kind of reverse some of that forward flexion that we do all throughout our day. We did 2 sets of legs, big muscle groups in the legs, our quads, hamstrings, and glutes. And then now we've gone into the lower legs, so our calf, tibialis anterior. And then we also did our shoulders, we did our biceps and triceps. So we've hit every muscle group in our body except for core. We still have a couple core exercises to do. And last time, good, okay, give that a little bit of a shake. This is another good time for a drink, so have another sip of water. Okay, great job. Okay. Let's do another balance exercise. Let's do our walk forward and back as we're walking a tightrope. So you're going to walk 1 foot in front of the other, and this is where you might want to have the chair beside you. We're going to take a few steps forward, a few steps back. If you've got a wall beside you, you could actually have your hand on the wall for a little bit of support, and you might be able to walk a little further forward and back. Just know how good your balance is and if you can step away from that chair or not. Oh, Sunny is showing off. He's doing his spin. He's kind of like a toddler or a 4 or 5-year-old who's still using a soother. It's kind of embarrassing for us that he spins and spins and spins. So I relate it to the toddler who's still got a soother. Okay, one more time with that walk forward and back. Hopefully you're getting a good laugh out of their antics today. You're getting a good view of Sunny's tail back and forth. Okay, give that a little bit of a shake. Okay, let's go into some core exercises. So I'm going to take my weights off my chair here now. I'll bring my chair back. Okay, so I'm going to sit on my chair. I'm going to sit on the front half of my chair. And I'm going to sit up nice and tall. And he usually doesn't get away with this, but I'm not going to get mad at him while we're on here. Sunny, come lay down. Sunny, Sunny, come. Sunny, come. Come down. Great. Okay, so let's go into our abdominal work. So we're going to sit up nice and tall here. We're going to do functional abs today. Hi, Ted, you want to do functional abs? We're going to sit up nice and tall, roll those shoulders back and down, and we're going to start just by lifting one leg and lowering. Now I want you to pull that belly button to spine like you're turning on that core at the same time as we're lifting those legs. Now those legs are just a distraction. I actually want you to be working your core here at this point. Now let's make that a little bit harder. Let's lift up the arms here at the same time. So we're just lifting and lowering the arms while we are turning on that core. Okay, let's just take a little bit of a breather. We'll come up to our upright position and I'm going to let these guys out. Hopefully the garbage truck has gone by now. Okay, let's try to combine those now. So now we'll do both at the same time. So let's sit up nice and tall, roll those shoulders back and down, and let's lift up opposite arm, opposite leg. And I'm going to lean back just slightly. Just by leaning back kind of turns on that core. So we've done something like this on the floor before. You might have done something like this on the floor. It's called a dead bug. So it's where we have our arms and our legs out, and then we alternate lifting and lowering one. So we're just modifying this for a chair version instead of getting down on the ground. But if you are able to get down on the ground and you want to try a dead bug on the ground, that would be great too. Okay, let's see 2 more. Make sure you're still breathing here. Don't hold your breath. Great. Okay, and let's come back up. Are we able to do one more set today? Let's do one more of those. Again, working our rectus abdominis, primarily the front of our abdominals. So again, let's lean back slightly. You can either lift just your arms or just your leg, one arm or one leg at a time, or you can alternate one arm and one leg. Okay, just to show you from the front what this looks like. Never holding our breath, always making sure we're breathing at the same time here. Okay, and last time. Great. Okay, let's try one more abdominal exercise here, and this one works more of our obliques. So what we're going to do with this one here, we're going to lift up one bum cheek. As we bring that bum cheek up, we're going to squeeze our armpit and our hip together, and I'm going to wiggle my hip back. I'm going to do the other side. Lift the hip, squeeze it back, armpit to hip, other side, and other side. So it's going to take me about 4 scooches to get to the back of my chair and about 4 scooches to the front. So again, I'm going to lift up my bum cheek, armpit to hip, and scooch forward, armpit to hip, scooch forward, armpit to hip, scooch forward, and then I'm at the front of my chair. So let's do that a few more times. So this is working our obliques, muscles along the side of our body here, or side of our abdominals. And so it's good, like we've done throughout all of our class. We've worked front muscles, back muscles, side muscles. We've tried to work a little of everything so we're nicely well-rounded. Good, one more time, back and front. Make sure you're breathing here still. We're never holding our breath during any of our exercises. Good, how about one more, there and back. Good, I've got a slippery chair here today, so I probably could cheat. I would ask you that you don't cheat. Don't try to just slide the bum cheek forward or slide it back. Actually do that big scooch forward and big scooch back. Okay, let's stretch everything out. So let's start with one foot in front. We're gonna sit up nice and tall, roll those shoulders back and down. We're gonna hinge at the hips, getting a nice stretch through the back of the legs. Now, know that you can always do these standing, so you could be doing this in a standing position as well. I just prefer seated because I can let everything else relax while I'm getting that stretch. So I'm getting that stretch in my hamstring as well. If I bring my toe up towards my shin, I'm gonna feel that in my calf muscle as well. So getting a nice stretch all along the back of my leg. And again, I'm gonna take some nice easy breaths as I'm doing this. I'm gonna look about 3 feet in front of me, keeping my head and neck in line with my spine. Unless I do just a quick little rotation to glance your way. Good. And let's release that. Let's take that same leg back. So we're gonna scooch to one side of our chair, take that leg back, getting a nice stretch this time through the hip flexor and through the quadricep here, sitting up nice and tall. Once again, you can do this seated where I can relax completely, or I can lift up and do the same thing standing. Just a little bit more of a challenge on my legs is all. So know you always have options. Now with that leg back, let's maybe do a little bit of a pelvic tilt. Chest is lifted, maybe we're leaning back slightly. And then let's lift up one arm and let's give that a little stretch to the side at the same time. Ooh, getting a fabulous stretch to the side of the body. And remember, it's still really important we have our hands above our head on occasion, because we want to make sure we have that range of motion. We just want to maybe avoid our hands above our head while we've got weights in our hand, or while our heart rate is accelerated if we have hypertension or high blood pressure. So let's have the other leg forward, hinge forward at the hips. Again, nice stretch through the back of the leg, knee is soft. I'm going to bring my toe up just towards the shin a little bit higher, getting a little bit deeper stretch through that calf muscle. And breathe. So much to think about, hey? Again, taking just a couple more breaths at the same time. Our muscles relax so much better if we're breathing at the same time. And you'll notice I'm keeping my back neutral. I'm going to avoid reaching for that toe because it's really hard to reach for that toe without rounding the spine. And we get a much more effective stretch if we've got a nice long neutral spine than if we start to round it by reaching for that toe. Good. Okay, now we're going to take that leg back, and I've changed my vantage point now. I'm facing you this time, but that leg is back. The knee can be straight or bent. I'm going to tuck my tailbone, maybe just making that a little bit deeper, maybe leaning back a little further. And this time here, I'm going to lift that arm up, and once again, reach across. Just getting a little bit deeper stretch. So feeling a nice stretch through the hip flexor and the quadricep as well as the side of the body. Great. And again, just taking some nice, easy breaths without at the same time. Good. And bring it up and release that. Good. Okay, let's just do a couple more stretches for the upper body. And again, if you feel most comfortable seated, feel free to stay seated. I'm going to stand once again, just because I'll be sitting at my computer most of the rest of the day here, getting a nice stretch to the shoulder here. Okay, let's take that same arm up and back into a tricep stretch. So just gently pressing on the elbow. You always have the option of bringing that arm up and over if that's your preference. Good, and release that other arm across the front here, stretch out through the shoulder. And you can have your arm above the elbow or below the elbow. You can even have that arm at the elbow. It really doesn't matter. I'm not locking the joint. So just having a gentle, I like usually just on one side of the elbow. Make sure that shoulder isn't high. Make sure you keep that shoulder a little lower. Good. Let's take that same arm up and back. Either a gentle press to the elbow or bring that arm up and over. Getting a nice stretch through the triceps. Good. And open up through that body, stretch out through the chest. I haven't had a drink of water for the last little while, and I will definitely have one after we're done class. And this is just a quick reminder, finish off that water bottle. You know, that might not have felt very intense, but we need to make sure that we stay hydrated during the day. And if we're exercising, all the more reason why we need to have a little bit more water. Let's bring those hands behind the back, open up through the chest here. And you can either just have those hands resting on your hips and bring those elbows back, or you can actually lift those hands away from the back just slightly. I'm envisioning some nice, quiet, relaxing music here at the same time. Okay, and let's release that. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale all the way up. And exhale. Again, nice deep breath in. Inhale all the way up. And exhale. One last time, nice deep breath. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I hope you enjoyed our all weight class that I did today for you. So have some more water. It's going to be a beautiful day outside here today, so I'd really encourage you to get outside and enjoy some of this last few warm days of summer. Have a fantastic day, my friends, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care.